Hello from Olympic National Park. Olympic National Park is located on the Olympic Peninsula in the northwest corner of Washington. It's about a 5-hour drive from my house, so I decided to make a stop on my way to my campground at Kalaloch. I'm just parked at Kalaloch to walk down to the Tree of Life, and I was gonna stay here for sunset before I go to my camp at Mara, but it's pretty foggy. So I'm gonna walk down and see the Tree of Life and then head to my camp like an hour away. So not only can you look at the tree, but you can actually go inside too. Even though I'm not going to get a sunset, I am glad that I stopped because you can see that there's hardly any people waiting to take a picture. And when I stopped here last summer, it was more like mid-afternoon. We had to wait like 20 minutes and still did not get a photo without people in it. So this was really nice to be able to see it less crowded. Evenings, great time to stop. I'm camping at Mora Campground near Forks and La Push, which is about another hour's drive. I'm using my car camper for this trip, and it is a no-build car camper. It's an air mattress that's made specifically for SUVs, made up cozy with blankets and pillows. And then I have these screens that I put over my back windows so I can leave them open for ventilation. And the only real downside of having a no-build camper is all my stuff has to go in the front when I'm sleeping. There is a campfire ban, so I didn't have a campfire to sit by. I just went to bed early. So just gotten up and gotten ready and put all my stuff back in the back of my car camper. And now we are going to head out into Olympic National Park. My first stop is going to be Second Beach, which is right near La Push. So I'm on the trail to Second Beach. And something you should know in Olympic National Park, a lot of the beaches do require a hike to get to. Second Beach is just a 0.8 mile each way hike, so not bad at all. And the forest is beautiful. This is my second time in Olympic National Park, and I have yet to see a sunny day at the beach or a day where it's not completely locked in by a fog. Second Beach is one of the best places in the park to go tide pooling at low tide. The sun came out. I got so lucky that I got to see the beach both in the fog and in the sun. All the rocks came out. I'm super happy. I'm going to head over to Devil's Punchbowl on Lake Crescent before heading over to Sol Duc Hot Springs and to the falls to hike. But first I'm having my lunch. I brought a Chipotle bowl with me yesterday when I came, and I ate half of it for dinner last night, and I'm eating half of it for lunch today. I made a quick stop in La Push to stop and see the twilight sign. The drive to Devil's Punchbowl is just over an hour, and then it's a 2.4 mile out and back hike. I'm on the trail to Devil's Punchbowl, and it is crowded. It's almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and there are tons of people here, but the water looks so pretty. Near the end of the trail, you'll see this tunnel opening, and there are some signs warning you for how dark it is. You can walk through if you want, and it goes around to the other side of Devil's Punchbowl, or you can just walk around the tunnel. It was so packed. It's a very small area. The water is gorgeous, but there were so many people, and the only way to get in the water here is to jump. I watched a few people do it. I'm not a jumper, so I got out of there, but it was so hot I needed to find a place to swim, so I found a less crowded beach and waded in. That feels so much better. From Devil's Punchbowl, it was another hour drive to get to Sol Duc Hot Springs Resort. The resort includes a campground and cabins and mineral springs that you don't have to be staying there to use. There are several pools with varying temperatures so you can sit wherever feels comfortable to you. The prices are actually pretty reasonable for an hour and a half. There are different time slots that you can go in, so be aware of those. And it wasn't that crowded and actually felt really good. They also have a restaurant, a mercantile, and a gift shop. So I decided to head over to the hot springs because I really wanted a shower, and I knew if I went and sat in them, there was going to be a locker room with hot showers. And the hot springs were warm and nice, and I feel very relaxed now. I'm going to miss out on the Sol Duc waterfall hike because I'm going to head back to my campsite and hike down to Rialto Beach to hopefully see a sunset. Rialto Beach is just a 5-minute drive from Mora Campground. This is one of the few beaches that you don't have to hike to. The parking lot is right next to the beach. Rialto is a pretty rocky beach, but unfortunately you cannot take any rocks because it's part of the national park. And it was too foggy to see a sunset, but I am really enjoying these foggy vibes on the beaches here.
Good morning. So that was night 2 in my car camper. And I have to tell you, it's super comfy and cozy in here. But I was woken up out of a dead sleep at 4 a.m. It sounded like someone was taking like a knife to my window screen. I'm pretty sure it was a pine needle falling down. And it just made that like a zipper noise. But I was like straight up and couldn't go back to sleep for like 2 hours. So I slept in till 8 this morning. Right now I'm going to get up and make coffee and make breakfast. I think I'm going to go to Rialto Beach again and do a hike down the beach. I think I'm going to go to Sol Duc Falls and maybe to Hurricane Ridge.
I left out my wet clothes from swimming yesterday and they did not dry at all. It is too wet here to dry clothes. And a bird pooped on my chair. I keep breakfast pretty simple when I'm camping by myself, and really I just need my jet boil. I love this thing. It's so fast to boil water. It tells me when it's ready and it gets it done so quickly. Then I just have some oatmeal and coffee and I'm ready to go. I'm back at Rialto Beach and got here at like 10 a.m. because I was waiting for the low tide. And the parking lot is full, so I had to park in the overflow parking and pretty far back. This morning, I'm hiking to Hole in the Wall, which is a 3.3 mile out and back that runs along Rialto Beach. So this hike is a lot easier at low tide because you can walk on kind of the firmer sand instead of the really loose rock. This hike is completely flat, which makes it really easy on the firm sand, and that beautiful forest line along the beach and the fog. and the rock stacks. It's just an absolutely gorgeous walk along the beach. The fog had mostly lifted by the time I got to Hole in the Wall. And because it's low tide, there's so many tide pools to explore. So the Rialto Beach to Hole in the Wall hike was a success. It took me forever. I stopped to take so many pictures and videos that it took me like 2 hours. Totally worth it. It's so beautiful. The sun came out. I got to see all, I don't know if they're rock formations, islands, whatever you want to call them. I got to see all of them, which I had not done before, so super excited. Then I had a delicious PB&J on the beach, and now I am heading to my next hike. The trailhead for Sol Duc Falls is just a couple miles from the Sol Duc Hot Springs resort. It's a 1.8 mile out and back trail through a gorgeous valley. The forest here is one of the prettiest in Olympic National Park, and it really feels like the redwoods with the size of the trees, the canopy, the trails, crossing rivers. It's absolutely gorgeous. The trail is relatively easy, but there are a few stairs, and at the end you are greeted with this magnificent waterfall. And don't forget to turn around when you're standing on this bridge because it is one of the best views I've ever seen. This trail is really popular and it gets really crowded. Parking is hard to find and people were parked for miles down the road from the parking lot. My next stop is Hurricane Ridge. I'm going to detour through Port Angeles to grab something to eat, but first it's so hot, I'm going to stop and jump in the lake. I just pulled over and stopped for like 5 minutes, ran down there, jumped in the water. I already had my swimsuit on. I changed in the bathroom at Sol Duc because I knew I was going to do this because I was so sweaty and that felt so good. The water's definitely colder on this side of the lake, but it felt amazing. Hurricane Ridge is notorious for long entry lines. Luckily this evening there's only 4 cars ahead of me. And when I got to the parking lot, the first thing I saw was this deer who was just not scared of anybody meandering through the parking lot. And then I saw the view. This is one of the most insane views I've ever seen. I'm going to hike the High Ridge Trail, which is just half a mile, and it's supposed to have 360-degree views so we can see the Strait of Juan de Fuca and more mountains. I saw more deer walking up the hill. I've never been this close to deer in the wild, and that backdrop, it's incredible. The views from higher up were spectacular. Hurricane Ridge is really amazing. I even saw a baby deer with its mom, and then saw that dad was there too. It was an entire deer family. The national park set up some telescopes for their dark sky program to hopefully see some meteors later. I got this great shot of the moon. I'm not going to stay for the meteors because I'm 2 hours from my campsite, but I did watch the most incredible sunset.
Good morning. Today is my last day in Olympic National Park, and I have saved some of the best things for last. I think I'm going to get a takeout coffee this morning instead of making coffee because it's raining a little bit. I'm going to get dressed, and I have to pack up my chairs, my changing tent, and then I'm going to head over to the Hoh Rainforest.
It was still raining when I left camp, and the Hoh was about an hour away, so I stopped in Forks and grabbed a latte. Thank you. I got to see a little bit of Forks as I drove through, but I didn't spend much time there, and then I was in the Hoh. I started to see the congestion signs and didn't see any traffic, so I was hopeful I had left early enough, and then I saw the line of cars.
So I made it to the Ho entrance station at like 8:30 and there's already a line, which means that the parking lot is full. And when the parking lot is full, they meter traffic. So one car goes out, one car goes in. Last time I was here, I waited like 45 minutes, but we were here in the middle of the day and we had to wait because we were camping here. And I'm waiting today because this is the only chance that I have to visit, because I'm going home after this. I'm making a couple other stops, then I'm going home after this. So I'm gonna sit here and wait. Luckily, there's only maybe a dozen cars in front of me, so it shouldn't take that long. I'm just gonna sit here and listen to my book and wait, and hopefully not too long. I didn't make breakfast at camp because I was trying to leave early, so I got out and started my jet boil while we're waiting in traffic and made my breakfast. It took me about 45 minutes to get through that line, but I just parked and now I'm gonna go walk the Hall of Mosses trail.
The Hall of Mosses is a 0.8-mile loop trail, but it is one of the most popular trails in the entire national park. I am sure you've seen photos of it on Instagram. It's otherworldly mosses, and it's an absolutely incredible trail. So I just finished hiking the Hall of Mosses and I made a new friend, Mallory. She is from Massachusetts and she has an Instagram, Mallory Hikes.
Mallory Hikes.
So if you want to see some awesome East Coast hikes, make sure that you give her a follow. She's on her first solo trip here in Washington. So give her a follow, and I am done with the Ho and I am off to the Quinault Rainforest. By the time I left, the line of cars was so long, so make sure that you get to the Ho Rainforest early. I'm making a quick stop at Ruby Beach on my way to Quinault Rainforest. I've just parked at Ruby Beach and the parking lot is really full, but I got lucky and got a spot pretty close up. The walk down to the beach is pretty short, but there is a bit of an incline, and this beach is amazing. There's a lot of driftwood and people have made these little structures out of the driftwood, and then the rock stacks are incredible and beautiful. I can see why this is one of the most popular beaches. My next stop is my last stop on this trip, and I'm going to the Quinault Rainforest, which I didn't even know existed until a few days ago. I read a blog post or a post on Reddit, I can't remember, that mentioned it and said that the Maple Glade or Maple Glen trail is just as good as the Hall of Mosses, but without the people. So I'm going to stop on my way home and check it out. It's about 50 minutes from here, so I'm gonna hit the road. The Maple Glade Trail is a half-mile loop in the Quinault Rainforest. This is an area of the park that I have not explored before, but I do know that there is Quinault Lake and several other trails. This trail is so beautiful, and I've only seen a couple of people. That alone gives it the advantage over the Hall of Mosses. But the ferns are giant, the trees are giant. It definitely has that wow, majestic factor. You cannot miss this trail. I can't believe I never knew that this existed. I'm half torn between not letting the secret out and keeping it nice and peaceful and just shouting how amazing it is. That was a fantastic last stop for my 3-day Olympic Park adventure. And now it's time to go home. I have like a 5-hour drive from here, so I'm going to head out. I can't wait to get home and shower and eat dinner. Thank you so much for watching and for coming along on this adventure with me. If you haven't done so already, don't forget to hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a thing. I will see you in the next one.